Good afternoon, Dean Davison, live weatherblog.com meteorologist here. It's time for afternoon update. We're going to start in the tropics. This is going to be our main, once again, a main topic here, and that's because we have KATIA, or KATIA, whatever, how you ever want to pronounce this name, okay, out here in the central Atlantic. But more threatening is this right here near the central Gulf Coast, which is a tropical disturbance that looks to become a tropical system later this afternoon or early tomorrow, and possibly do something. The steering currents aren't good here, and it has a few predicaments of possibly going on northwest, maybe going northeast. We'll have to check this out. And we have a 50% high. We have even another one that becomes subtropical that's way well in the North Atlantic, and we got KATIA, which is out here, and we'll look into this. But yeah, this is a situation that the hurricane hunter is going to be flying into, and this is starting to look pretty decent actually on satellite. So I wouldn't be surprised if we go right from this to a tropical storm or a tropical depression at least, and strengthen before it makes a landfall somewhere in the United States. And it's a imminent threat versus an unimminent threat. So if you look at it here, the center of circulation is located right about here. You see the thunderstorm development is around the center of circulation. So if we get this thing closed off, this trough closed off, this will be a named system. And look at the proximity to the Gulf Coast line. That's the issue that we have right now. KATIA, pretty system. Starting to get that outflow and blowing out from the center. So this center dense overcast is around the center. This is really looking healthy. Where does this go? These are all scenarios that we're going to play out here in the computer models, and you have a lot less time with the storm that may develop on the Gulf than you do with KATIA, because KATIA has been looking like what's going to go out to sea, so maybe more of a Bermuda threat. Let's take a look. If you want to see why we are having a big issue with this system and its abilities at this point, I just want you to take a look at this computer model data. I mean, seriously. We got lines all over the place, making a landfall, come back down, going southwest with two of the models, GFDL and GFS. You got one going around, come back, it's loop-de-loops, and you got H-Wharf that takes it into near New Orleans, comes back out, and then moves northeast, gets caught by the trough and goes northeast. So there's so much mess with this system, and so much uncertainty, that me and you can make a better guess on where this is going than these computer models. I can guarantee you that much. 94L, this will be a fish storm, but maybe Canadian Maritimes, but it does take this strength over tropical storm strength. So you see all these moving off towards Europe. Then we have our friend KATIA, who some of these models keep it on a westward direction. We got the GFS that turns it out near Bermuda. What will verify? It's going to be hard to tell at this point. It does bring it north of the islands, but what happened from there? Does it turn out to sea, or does it get caught underneath the trough and go west? That's still in the air, and that's why we can't write off KATIA at this point. Here's a look at 93L, which would become the next tropical system. And here's our situation. Here's a system right on the coast of near New Orleans. At that point, it will be tropical storm strength. It would wiggle around, go back out to sea, come back in as a landfalling system, and then head up to the northeast, and then there's KATIA on the GFDL at this point. Excuse me, H-Wharf. The GFS, you can see here, troughing and ridging. Here's one system, two systems, three systems. Let's continue this along. There's a system strengthening right along. This will keep continuous strengthening. EFS has a strengthening pretty strong here, right along the central Gulf Coast. What the problem is it's not a deep enough trough to dig in to push this east based on the GFS. So it would progress itself west as a ridge builds in, possibly make a landfall in Texas or something of that matter before going in and getting pushed away. And then KATIA will go towards Bermuda based on here, because not a strong deep troughs here based on the GFS. Here's our GFDL model, and this really pushes it to the west and goes over Louisiana, goes southwest, and KATIA would be located here. European ensembles. European pulls it into Louisiana and then pushes it back off, strengthens it really strong, and then pushes it back towards Texas. As KATIA will go towards Bermuda. A lot of KATIA's movement has been towards Bermuda as of late. Canadian would push this towards Texas, and a ridge would build in and push it southwest, and it would die over the Mexican mountains. KATIA would then start to try to make a northerly turn towards Bermuda. So it looks more or less like KATIA is more a threat than the actual threat from this system in the Gulf. But I think this Gulf system is a big threat. It's just these models need to glimpse on. It's having a hard time picking up if a deep enough trough will come in and lift it. You know, and that's the big issue right now. So this needs to be watched very closely because of that situation. And anyway along the Gulf Coast needs to watch this. Anyway along the East Coast really does too, because if it does get caught in the trough, there'll be a lot of rain coming from the system, and it'll be another issue for flooding. Then we have the threat over the next couple of days for severe weather. We have up here in Minnesota, Wisconsin area, the slight risk of severe weather. That would include tornadoes in the Minnesota and Wisconsin area, winds generally along that area, and hail also. You get also the tornado threat along the Gulf Coast with this possible tropical development, and a little bit in the area of Erie up to Harrisburg. As we move along into Friday, the threat moves east. You get some monsoonal moisture there, and then still the possible tropical system down in the Gulf, causing the issues near Louisiana. Saturday, this threat will then still be along the Gulf in the monsoon area, and also Illinois is stretched across to Ohio for another threat. When we get into day 4 through 8, which will be Sunday, is going to be the main day here. Take a look where the severe weather threat is then. Roanoke, Philly, New York City, back up here. This will be a threat for severe weather on September the 4th. Happens to be my birthday, but severe weather risk will be occurring there. Main threat will be high winds and isolated tornadoes, and it's on Sunday. Stay with liveweatherblogs.com for all your latest weather information. We'll keep you updated on this potential tropical system in the Gulf of Mexico and where it will go. A lot of uncertainty there, and the severe weather threat. For liveweatherblogs.com, meteorologist Dean Davison. Have a great afternoon. We'll update you later this afternoon or early this evening.